Beginning in the shape of standing, the key of standing, rhythmical as the pelvis is moving across the midline, the head more or less gravitating towards the midline at the same time. Notice how tuned in we are to the lower half. They're very, very powerful down through pelvis, legs, to the earth, and back again. So playing in the key of standing, we're going to swing the hips to the right and take both arms, fly the arms to the right, and then bring the right arm down and resist your own movement as you swing through the midline to the left, grab on and pull down again across the midline to the right. And as the right arm rises, lean back and let it back bend and bring the right arm around behind you. Eventually looking left, quarter turn to your left, you'll emerge into a cat stance with the left foot leading. Staying tuned in to the gravity of the lower half of the body. And we're going to step forward onto the left leg and just float the right leg out in front. Again, swinging the right leg forward like a counterbalance. Then pitch the heart forward and swing the right leg down and back. Reach the crown and the right heel as far as you possibly can from each other. Bend the standing knee. Then we'll come up and cross the right knee over the left, dropping the hips onto the front of an imaginary chair, like an eagle. And then we'll set the right foot down, and then set the left hand down and catch the left ankle with the right hand and just play here, finding many, many micro articulations, micro exploration. Then we'll release the left foot to the ground and drop down into a crossed squat, right knee on top. Then we'll unwind into a long squat, just uncrossing the legs. Pull that right heel down into the ground. Stay active wherever you're long, wherever you're stretched, very engaged. And we're going to bring the right leg around behind us, parking the right foot just behind us in an asymmetrical squat. Moving within the shape. And then we lift the hips into a short stance, a short setup in a crouch, left foot leading. And there's so much here. There's so much here. Loosen the neck. Let the head be transparent. And from the crouch, we're going to turn a quarter turn to our right into a fold. And the fold moves now primarily bilaterally, side to side. And we start to, as we pulse side to side, we're going to allow the stance to open up. Mostly the right leg is going to dance away from the left leg as we move. And it's just fun to let it open up. It happens naturally. And when you feel like your stance is open enough, it's long enough between the feet, we're going to go ahead and turn a quarter turn to the right and open up into a lunge. Now the legs get really worked in this sequence, so do what you can within the shapes to balance yourself out, not to stretch, but to lengthen and find space. And from the lunge, we're going to turn around slowly to the left, 180, into a long crouch. So it's a little shorter than a lunge. We're going to stand up. Now keep the hips low, the back knee bent, backing the hips up, and we're going to take a big step forward, hopefully without touching, to balance on the left leg. Float the right leg forward again, counterbalancing. And then like we did in the beginning of the sequence, pitch the heart forward and push the right heel back and up with everything you have. Bend the standing knee, lift the kidneys. And then as you come up, drop into a cat stance, left foot leading. And it's a simple, simple exit. A quarter turn to your right. Back to the key of standing. Now, as mentioned earlier, the legs really get worked in this sequence, so we're breathing locally. What we can feel, we can breathe. So clearing the legs, back in our side-to-side movement, the pulsation itself continues to clear the space, clear the landscape. And getting into the sequence on the other side, we're going to bring the left arm from left down across the midline to the right, reaching up and grabbing on with that left hand with a fist and pull down. The whole body is toned here. We're breathing. The left arm swinging down and up to the left, and we'll roll back into a back bend, letting the left arm reach back. The gaze changes to the right, and we emerge with a 90-degree turn to the right into the cat stance with the right foot leading. Breathing. Then we step slowly onto the right leg, swing the left leg out in front like a pendulum, and then pitching the spine forward, the torso forward, the left leg swings down and back and up. You want to make as much space as you possibly can between the crown and the left heel. The standing knee bent. And then as you stand up, we're going to cross the left knee over the right knee. Drop the sits bones, pull the sits bones back and hollow the belly like an eagle. And we'll set the ball of the left foot down, grounding the eagle. Set the right hand down, and then balancing on the left leg, catch the right ankle with the left hand. And just see what you can do to micro move within this geometry. Dropping the right foot to the deck and lowering the hips into a crossed squat, left over right. And then balancing on the hands, unwrap into a long squat, left leg forward. So good for the hips, so good for the feet. And then we're going to swing that left leg around behind us, bringing the left foot just behind the pelvis into an asymmetrical squat. The right foot is in front now. Squats are one of the best shape keys to really explore, to see what's possible for low back, sacrum, hips, and the lower limb. Lifting the hips, the squat becomes a short stance crouch. Right leg remains in front, and we're moving now longitudinally, back, sit deep, hollowing the belly to the sky, opening the back of the neck. It's like you could just stay there all day, and then a quarter turn to the left into the fold. So now we're moving bilaterally. Play with the height of the pelvis, like coming down, like dropping the pelvis low sometimes towards a squat, and then high really towards straight legs. As we move, as we dance, we let the left leg drift away from the right, opening up the stance. And then it's a quarter turn to the left when the stance is open enough and we're in a lunge. And we're clearing the right hip flexors, clearing the core. It's a really dynamic stance. And then turning around to the right, 180, pivoting to a long crouch. We're going to stand up, keep the hips as low as possible, and prepare to take a big step forward onto the right leg. Try not to touch the left foot. Balance straight away. It helps if you bend the standing knee. The left leg swings forward, and then one more time. The left leg swings back and up, and the heart reaches forward. So this is a little bit like half moon, but the standing knee is bent. And then we stand up, just drop the left foot behind, come into a cat stance, toasting the legs even more deeply. And then the exit will be a simple quarter turn to your left, coming back up into the key of standing. And it's good to let the momentum carry you forward. So even as you release out of the sequence, you're still in it. You're still in the flow, the pelvis moving side to side. And this is going to help us. It's going to help us shed residual tension, residual impressions from the last few minutes. So yummy, so spacious, so enlivened. This is a quickening. Deepest gratitude always. Many, many blessings. Keep dancing.